Welcome to The Red Book, Jung's Descent into the Soul. This series presents a modern exploration of themes from Jung's The Red Book, including symbols, visions, and inner journeys of the psyche. The interpretations presented here are the creator's own reflections and may or may not fully align with Jung's original ideas. This content is intended for educational and contemplative purposes only. It is not professional psychological, medical, or therapeutic advice. Listen mindfully, reflect deeply, and allow the ideas and images to speak to your own inner experience. Jung felt a call to explore the depths of his inner world, a world beyond conscious thought, where visions and symbols dwell. He observed his own mind transforming into a landscape of myth and reflection. The conscious mind only shows part of reality. Jung recorded his dreams and visions, exploring what he observed. He reflected on the images, allowing them to speak in their own language. To enter the unconscious, Jung noted, one must be willing to descend, to face shadows, fears, and hidden parts of the psyche. It is a journey inward, not outward. Even at the start, Jung observed his shadow emerging, not as a literal figure, but as a presence in his visions, a part of himself that demanded attention and reflection. The journey had begun, and Jung reflected on the significance. This was the start of a descent into the psyche that would reveal ancient wisdom and personal transformation. After the descent into the unconscious, Jung began to notice a presence, a part of himself that was hidden, dark, and demanding attention. He observed this shadow not as a literal being, but as a symbolic force. The shadow is the unconscious side of the personality. Jung reflected that it contains what is denied, ignored, or unacknowledged. It is not evil, but it holds power and influence. Jung recorded dialogues and visions in which the shadow appeared. He observed the reactions it provoked: fear, fascination, resistance. Reflection allowed him to see parts of himself he had never noticed before. The encounter with the shadow is not the end, but the beginning. Jung noted that acknowledging it leads to understanding, transformation, and self-reflection. Ignoring it only strengthens its influence. By observing and reflecting on the shadow, Jung took the next step in his inner journey. This presence, once hidden, became a guide and a mirror for the psyche. As Jung journeyed further, he began to notice a subtle presence in his visions, a voice, gentle yet persistent, guiding and questioning. He reflected that this was the anima, the symbolic feminine aspect of the psyche. Jung recorded interactions with this inner presence. He observed questions, suggestions, and reflections appearing in visions and dreams. The anima encouraged exploration of the unconscious and of suppressed aspects of the self. The anima, Jung noted, acts as a bridge. It reflects hidden emotions, intuition, and aspects of the psyche not seen by the conscious mind. Through reflection, the inner voice became a guide and mirror for personal understanding. Jung observed that acknowledging the anima allows dialogue within the self. It transforms inattention into insight, confusion into clarity. This step is essential for self-reflection and understanding the unconscious. Through observation and reflection, Jung recognized the anima as a vital aspect of the psyche. It is not separate or external, but an inner voice guiding the journey into wholeness. In the deeper layers of the unconscious, Jung observed a wise presence. He reflected on this figure, who seemed both human and divine. This was Philemon, a guide in his visions, a symbol of wisdom and the living spirit. Jung observed that his visions contained archetypal figures, which he described as living gods. These presences represented aspects of the unconscious mind and eternal human truths. Reflection allowed him to dialogue with these figures in his imagination. Philemon spoke, not in words, but through visions and symbols. Jung recorded the insights and observed how they resonated with his inner life. He reflected on their significance, allowing them to guide personal understanding. The presence of Philemon and the living god suggested a new way of seeing the unconscious. Jung noted that these figures were not external, but emerged from his own psyche. They offered insight, reflection, and a mirror for transformation. Through reflection on Philemon and the living gods, Jung deepened his understanding of the unconscious. These visions became a map for navigating inner life, offering wisdom and insight for the journey ahead. Jung observed that the inner journey involves cycles of ending and beginning. He reflected on visions of death and rebirth, symbolic transitions within the psyche. these experiences suggested the possibility of transformation and renewal. Death, Jung noted, does not refer to the physical body, but to the death of old patterns, beliefs, and ways of being. The unconscious presents these symbols to encourage reflection and growth. Through reflection, Jung observed the emergence of new patterns and insights. Rebirth symbolizes renewed understanding, awareness, and integration of the psyche. Individuation, he reflected, is the lifelong process of becoming whole. Jung recorded visions in which the old self dissolved, making space for the new. By observing and reflecting, he allowed the unconscious to guide transformation. These reflections formed a map for inner wholeness. Death, rebirth, and individuation are not events, but processes. Jung observed that by reflecting on these cycles, one can navigate the inner world with clarity and insight. As Jung reflected on his visions, he realized the Red Book offered a symbolic map. It charted inner landscapes, archetypal encounters, and personal transformations. This map was not literal, but a guide to understanding the psyche. Jung observed that every symbol, vision, and figure served as a landmark. Reflection on these elements allowed him to trace paths through the unconscious. Each encounter suggested a lesson, an insight, or a reflection. The Red Book, Jung reflected, encourages mindful observation. It is not a set of instructions, but a mirror for contemplation. By recording, reflecting, and exploring, he could see patterns emerging in the psyche. Jung noted that the map is most useful when engaged with personally. Symbols, figures, and visions are tools for inner understanding. Reflection and observation lead to insight, not prescriptive answers. The Red Book, as explored by Jung, is both a journey and a map. It invites reflection, insight, and integration. By observing and engaging with it, the inner world becomes navigable, offering wisdom and understanding for the conscious mind. Thank you for joining us on this journey through the Red Book, Jung's descent into the soul. Over the course of these episodes, we explored the shadow, the anima, philomon, and the cycles of death, rebirth, and individuation, each offering a mirror into the unconscious. These visions, symbols, and reflections are presented here as interpretations and insights, and may not fully align with Jung's original ideas. By observing, reflecting, and contemplating these inner landscapes, we can gain greater self-awareness, insight, and a deeper connection to our own psyche. Let this serve as an invitation to continue your own inner journey. Explore the symbols within your mind and reflect on the archetypal forces shaping your life. If you found value in this series, consider subscribing to continue exploring sacred symbols, ancient wisdom, and metaphysical journeys with us.